Hello everyone, today I am going to talk about the remaining or the last part of the chapter, that is softwares and its types. Now when we are talking about a computer, everything in computer is divided into two parts. The first part is known as the hardware and the second part is known as the software. When I am talking about the hardware, it is the combination, as we can see and we have learned through the course of this chapter, that computer is not one device, it's a combination of multiple devices that are performing multiple functions to give the result that we get. But how is it possible that the machine is understanding what we are saying or what it is to be done? The soul of a computer hardware is its software. Like the body is dead without the soul, it cannot work. In the same way, your computer will never work without a software, and that's the place where software holds its importance. Whatever you want the system to do, it's done by a software. Now whenever I talk about hardware and software, the first definition that comes to the child's mind is software is something that we cannot touch and feel. Children, there are a number of things that you cannot touch and feel, but they will never match the importance and the functionality of a computer software. Now when I am talking about a software, it's not one thing, it's a combination of number of programs. Now as you all have opted IP, means it is clear that you are moving towards computers and the softwares. So the simple definition that you used to use, that it is something that you cannot touch and feel, will not work. Here we are going to see that it is a multifunctional system. It is a combination of n number of programs that will be doing n number of tasks to satisfy users one particular kind of need. We have a software for everything, like you have app for everything today in the Play Store. Say what you want and you will get an app for it there. So in the same way, softwares have evolved, they have come and become a very important part of each one's life today. So software is a collection of programs and documentation. Now when I am talking about program and documentation, what is a program? A program is a set of instructions given to computer to perform one particular specific task. So when I am talking about softwares, they will be divided into two basic parts: system software and application softwares. Now when I am talking about a system software, these are the softwares without which the system will never work, without which it's not possible to run a computer. Then these will be known as a system software. And application softwares, these are the softwares that are used to do one specific or some specific kinds of work. They are known as application softwares. Now when I am talking about system softwares, we have multiple kinds of system softwares, and they are very important to know. First one is the operating system. The second one, language processor. Utility softwares. And the device drivers. These are the four kinds of system softwares that we have. The second, application softwares. These are of three kinds. First one is the general purpose. Second one is the specific. And the third one is the customized. Now this is the classification of a software, and it is very very important because this will give you key to all different kinds of software that we have. Now talking about the system software, as I have introduced it earlier also, a system software is a software without which it's impossible to run a software. We need this software for running the system, for execution, for basic working of a computer. And here the most important thing that comes is the operating system. Now what do you mean by an operating system? Number of examples must be coming to your mind, like the Windows, like Apple, like Macintosh, like Ubuntu. These are different, Linux, these are different kinds of operating system. And what is their work? Their work is that they act as an interface, as an intermediator between the user and the system hardware. We all always know that the system hardware will not understand what we want because it's just a machine like the fan, electricity, light. But when I'm talking about the system, how it will be working, this operating system takes input from the user in a form that is very very easy for the user, like the commands, like the button clicks, whatever we do, like the clicking of the start button, this is a command that we give. In Linux we type a command, in command prompt we type a command. So what is it doing? It's taking input of what user wants in a human in the user understandable form and gives it to the hardware in the hardware understandable form, that is electronic signals. And again, when the output is provided in electrical signal form, it is converted into a user understandable form, like an image, like a operation performed, like a calculation done. This is the work of the operating system. Next is the language processors. Now what is a language processor? A language processor is a machine. It is a software, a set of softwares that will be converting the instructions into machine understandable form. It, like we have heard about the assemblers, interpreters, and the compilers. These are all language processors. These are all language processors. We all know that the only language that can be understood by the computer hardware is the machine language. It is the signal language. It is the electronic signals that are provided by current. But can we actually provide data in the machine language? The answer will be blank, no. If it is the case, then we will not be able to use even our mobiles. So what is there? There we have these compilers, interpreters, assemblers. What are they doing? They are taking instruction and converting it into machine language and providing it. Whatever languages you see, like you see Java, you see Python, whatever languages we are using for programming, they need compilers, interpreters, or assemblers. Depending upon the language that we are using, they are known as the language processors. There are a lot of difference between interpreters and compilers. We all know about it. We have discussed it many times. Again, I am giving a brief run through. That is, interpreters, they go line by line. Compilers, they go as a whole. Interpreters are slower, compilers are faster. Interpreters removes error line by line. Compilers remove error at the last. Remember this. Interpreter removes error line by line. Compiler removes at last. Interpreters never save the object code. The code, the instructions, the programs written in a particular language are known as source code. But when we convert into an interpretable form, it's known as the object code. So the interpreters never store the object code, but the compilers stores the object code. These are the basic differences between interpreters and compilers. Now coming to the utility softwares. There are two basic utility softwares that we talk about. First is disk defragmenter and disk cleanup. What is disk cleanup? Disk cleanup means removing unwanted files. For if we are not using a particular file for a long time, that means it's obsolete. It is not used for a long time, it is not needed by the system, but still it is there and consuming the memory. So what will happen by default, these disk cleanup will clean the files when not needed or used for a long time. Disk defragmenter, we know that by use of system, there are holes, spaces that are not being used, that cannot be used for a long time. This is known as holes. These holes can be removed by shifting all used memory at one side and unused at one side. So if I transfer all these above, this small space will be increased, increasing the memory capacity. So what will happen? This will be known as disk defragmenting, as the values will be, as the data will be shifted to one side and the empty space will be shifted to another side. So when I am talking about this, this is known as the disk defragment. And now talking about the device drivers. What is a device driver? We all know that all the devices that we are using will be needing some software. As we know that all system computer is not one single device. It's a combination of number of devices. So what will happen? A device that you install new to the system, will it be compatible to the operating system that you are using? There need to be some control, there need to be some combination that will make these devices work together to connect to the system. These softwares are known as the device drivers. So what happens is, you can take the example of any printers. Maybe you have seen being installed. You need that your printer should be installed before using. The best example you can take is when you take your pen drive to a system where you have never visited. As soon as you plug in your pen drive to a system for the first time, it will give you a message, small message, installing device drivers. That means that small pen drive is also having its device drivers that first connect to your operating system and then allow you to work. These are known as the device drivers. Next, application softwares. Application softwares, I have told you, they are specific to a particular work. They give you add-on facility to work. They are known as the general purpose softwares. So what is a general purpose software? Basically, these are softwares that can be used by anyone for any use. Like the best example I always give is MS Office. Now MS Office is a software that you use for different functions, n number of functions by n kinds of uses. For example, I use it for editing, creating my teaching material. You as students use it for creating your assignments. There will be people that will be using it for their finances and their working. There will be people who will be using it for creating their logs for their shops. There will be people who will be using it for designing even. So as it has versatile uses and versatile kinds of users, it is known as a general purpose software. That means it can be used by any different area people for different kinds of work. Then it is known as a general purpose software. Talking about a specific purpose software, these are softwares that can be used only for one purpose but at different places. Like take example of Tally. Tally is a software that is used for accountancy. Now it can be used for accountancy at any place. Like it can be used in schools, it can be used in offices, it can be used in grocery shops, it can be used in large business firms, but it will be used only for one purpose, that is accountancy. I hope I have made myself clear. Now customized softwares, these are also known as tailor-made softwares. Now what is the difference between a tailor-made dress and a purchased dress? A purchased dress may satisfy your requirements, but it will not be an exact fit. It will need some alterations. That's why when we purchase dress material that is that you buy, then what you have to do is you have to give it for a alteration. But when you get a dress stitched by a tailor, what happens? Do you need to give it for alterations? No. Why? Because it's only built for you. In the same way, the softwares that are designed for this organization specific is known as a customized software. For example, if a company gets a software developed only for its organization, then it will be known as a customized software. It will be having all fields according to the need of the business. It will be having all fields related to that company specific, because working method of even same kind of companies may differ from one organization to another. So these are the various different kinds of softwares and their uses. Kindly read the chapter. With this we have finished unit 1. Please sit, read, prepare your notes and revise. Thank you.